Hey, thanks for taking the time to join us here on Polk Place. And from the Polk History Center, her name is Jayme Jamison, and going to tell us all about May at the Polk History Center. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. I got in trouble for the last show.
What happened?
Well, you know, my dad, he doesn't live in Polk County, but he's like my #1 fan.
Yeah.
He watched Polk Place and saw the segment about our fashion commentary.
Yeah.
And I was his fashion insultant. And he said,
Insulted. I remember that.
Yeah, I got busted. I didn't think he watched, but I got caught. I got caught.
And Dad made an immediate call to his attorney.
Right.
and I believe the will was adjusted accordingly.
No, because then I immediately roped my sister in and said, "Hey, you're going down with me.
Yeah.
You were in the story. We're both sinking with the ship, and it's all left to my brother now."
If I'm going down, I'm going down with the ship.
But it was funny. It took him about a week, and then I got this random text that said "fashion insultant," and I was like, "Oh, he watched the show." But I have to say, you look very nice today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everything matches.
Yeah. None of my fashion consultants are here, so I'm kind of on my own.
You're on your own. You're out on. We've pushed you out of the nest.
Yeah,
You've got to figure it out.
So what do we got going on in May?
Well, May is a very important month to us. It is, first of all, it is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, as well as Jewish Heritage Month. So we're going to be featuring some people of Asian American, Pacific Islander descent or Jewish ancestry on our social media that have had significant contributions to Polk County. And then it is also National Historic Preservation Month. All the nerds go crazy.
Talk to me a little bit about that. What does that mean?
So during the month of May, the U.S. government has identified this as a month where we talk about preservation. And what that means is really focusing on our history and what we're doing to preserve and promote that history. And they have a really cool theme this year. It's people saving places. So they're really focusing on who are the voices that are speaking up for places that might otherwise be destroyed, leveled, or forgotten about. Mm-hmm. And so for us, you know, we're really excited because we just finished part 1 of a preservation project at the Polk County History Center. You might have seen a big crane in downtown Bartow.
I saw that yesterday.
Yeah. So that was the completion of the roofing project. When Hurricane Ian came through, we had a little bit of water intrusion, and what it found out is just the way the wind was blowing, it was getting under the roof and leaking through to the walls. So we've got that fixed. That's step 1. Step 2, they came in and a company, Specialized Services, came in and they fixed the plaster where water had kind of come through and intruded. So that is done and getting painted. And then step 3 will be our long-awaited window project. Well, we'll have our 100, 200 plus windows, exterior windows on the building replaced. And so there's a lot of preservation work going into the building. And we've been so fortunate that county management, the Board of County Commissioners have all been so supportive of maintaining this historic asset for Polk County.
And with it being on the historical register, talk about, because you can't just go all willy-nilly and do whatever you want.
Oh, yes.
It has to be to specs. Talk a little bit about the contractors that come in and preserve how that building was built.
Perfect. So when we enter the contract process for this, there are a lot of specific details put into the contract trying to identify, do you have the skills necessary to work on this building and work on it in a manner that is careful.
And that plaster is one of those things
features,
that have to be.
It has to be done correctly, or what ends up happening is we're going to be redoing it, or there's been more damage done to the building than fixed. So Specialized Services has come in, and it's crazy how fast they work too.
Oh yeah.
They came in and they went room by room and repaired the plaster. And then they figured out the best painters to come in and paint as well. One of the things that we've encountered with them right now, and this is what I love about them, they're not just going to do the job to get it done. They discovered in one place where they had repaired the plaster that there is still moisture coming through the wall. And right now they are actively troubleshooting, trying to figure out why is their water still coming through the wall, and they will not do the repair work until they figure it out. And those are the kinds of things that we look for in a contractor. And also experience. Have they worked on historic preservation? Have they worked on historic buildings before? We're also very fortunate, you know, when you look for those contractors, one of the things, or any type of contractor, one of the things you want to see is, are they doing their homework? And one of the first things that they wanted to know is, do you have the blueprints for the building? Because some of you might know, because you've come on the architectural tour, it's actually 2 buildings, right?
Yep.
So the center of the building was built in 1908, and the 2 adjoining wings were built in 1926. What that means is there were windows covered up at some point. And so they wanted to be able to identify where those were and whether or not that was contributing to some of the water intrusion. So it's a very detail specific, highly skilled process, and we're very fortunate to have the company that we have working on our building.
I feel like I could answer phones now for a roofing company.
Yeah.
Do you have a leak or an intrusion? Well, what's an intrusion? Well, more likely an intrusion is where the wind is forced into a possible opening set for ventilation, and then the water gets through that way.
And that's
or a
exactly.
leak. See?
Yep.
Yeah. Now I pay attention.
Yep. And then the other part of that too, you might see that's afforded us the opportunity to consider some of our lighting in the building, and we're going through the process and updating our lighting. I tell you what, the Board of County Commissioners and the manager's office hire some really great people to work for the county. And our maintenance team, bar none, they're some of the greatest guys I've ever met, and they're very dedicated to the building as well. And one, I'm going to call him an Imagineer. He might not have been an Imagineer, but he is in our minds. He worked for Disney. And so he came into the building, and he was a lighting person for Disney, and he's immediately identified some ways that we can do some better lighting opportunities in the building. So
that is very cool.
It's very cool. It's very exciting, and it's all preservation, because if we weren't in that building day after day, working, reporting things, it's very easy for a building like that to fall into disrepair. And the county invests a tremendous amount to help us maintain it. And there's nothing like it when I drive into work in the morning and see that nice shining dome over the city.
When will we notice the new lights on the outside?
Oh, so I think that was part of the roofing project. I've not gotten any intel yet.
You haven't got the remote control to it yet.
I haven't gotten the remote control yet, and I don't know if that's because of what I said on the last segment that I was going to be playing with it. So they might have said, maybe
You're calling
not
the
for
lighting
Jayme.
company. How can I get a chartreuse?
Yeah. I would like a salmon color, please. Or, you know, I could make the people on your team very happy, and I could give them the specific hex codes. I'm like, here, I need this hex code. Yeah, BOCC Communications. A little outline of the county help. So hopefully that will be soon, and then the window project will start in July, and it'll be like a big Christmas present for us at the end of the year. All the restoration work will be done.
That's very cool. We got anything else going on, May?
Yeah, so because it's Preservation Month, it's also the anniversary of the establishment of the Polk County Historical Commission. Really easy to remember. It's a Star Wars Day, May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you in historic preservation. It was founded in 1937, and it is our Board of Trustees. They are the ones that we report to as the History Center, and they report to the board. And they make recommendations for things that we should be doing. In particular, they make recommendations for historic markers. And I know some of your team was out there. It was so exciting for the Sun and Fun 50th anniversary marker. What a beautiful marker.
Yep.
It looks so nice outside of that building. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
So we just had delivered to us a historic marker for the Ritz Theater in Winter Haven, the historic Ritz Theater. So that'll probably be installed this summer. And then Seawa Studios in Ohio, who makes our markers, have 3 others in queue ready to make for us for the Cleveland Court Golf Course, Cleveland Heights Golf Course, the Frank Gardner House in Lake Alfred, and you might like this one, Shady Oaks Fish Camp out on the way east side of the county, just north of Grape Hammock.
I happen to know where that is.
Yeah, so that one was a fun research project for me. I don't like to fish. it just is not my thing.
Yeah.
It's plenty of other people's things. It's my dad's thing. But I had to go in and kind of really interpret the use of land because it was cattle land. But the gentleman who owned the land let people come back there and fish. And then you know how that happens. You tell one person about your fishing spot. Yep. And so it kind of
never
grew
ever
from
tell
there.
your friends about the honey hole.
And it was a great one. I looked in the newspapers and they had bass fishing tournaments and all sorts of things out there.
Yep.
So there's a great marker coming out there for that campsite. So we are, I don't say this lightly, the county and the people in the county and the people in our communities are really embracing preservation and wanting to mark and tell those stories.
You know what I heard about your dad?
What's that?
He's a fashion aficionado.
He is.
Since you mentioned, he's a fisherman and a fashion aficionado.
I know. He's got it. He always does match. The hat, fishing gloves, everything. So that must be the perks of retirement, is you have lots of time to consider what you're wearing.
Well, we got just a little bit of time left. Finish up and get us out of here.
So of course, and then the last thing is we've got our 2 regularly scheduled events. So May 18th is the architectural tour with Bartholomew, which if you were listening this whole time and you had no clue what I was talking about, come to the architectural tour. And then May 25th is genealogy speaker series with Shannon. The title for this one is Dribbling Through a Basketball Story. And it's a case study of a family member whose father had always told these wild tales about playing basketball professionally, and they couldn't really track it down, and then eventually they did. And so it's these, it's the step 1, dad tells a story and you go, all right, dad, yeah, sure, whatever. And step 10, oh my gosh, dad wasn't kidding, he really did do all these things. So it's a really great.
Real life fact checkers.
Yeah, real life fact checking.
There you go.
Yep, so join Shannon for that on May the 25th.
All right. Well, we will see you next month for
Dog Days of
June's
Summer.
happenings then, all right?
June. Looking forward to it.
All right, see ya. Polk County has a rich history and heritage, and the Polk History Center is continuously thinking of new ways to help the Polk residents experience that history. The museum's collection includes natural and cultural objects related to Polk and the greater Central Florida area that represents our history from pre-Columbian to present-day areas. Artifacts on display at the museum represent individuals, cultural groups, and events significant to the region. They are located at 100 East Main Street in Bartow. History Center is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. For more information on exhibits, events, and anything else, check them out on the web, polkhistorycenter.org, or give them a call, 863-534-4386. If you enjoyed that episode of Polk Place, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and even check out the next one.